and
have all the
Virgo.
squares
Mars
that
and
I do.
Virgo.
I have all, yeah.
I have a very positive chart. My score is 1700.
Mine's not.
Or maybe 2000. It's just like perfect.
Oh.
But I also have all the Neptune stuff, so
Yeah,
that was probably
God
a
is
lie.
fair.
So that was probably a lie.
That's fair.
Right. I'm gonna die at 50 from drug
Right, you would
use.
have,
and,
yeah, you would have like owned the universe, but instead now you're just.
But no one can own the universe, so they just throw in a little dime bag cocaine.
Offset.
We're still not filming.
Yeah.
We're not recording.
We're going now.
Oh. We're not going to talk about cocaine.
No.
Okay. What we are going to talk about is the love triangle that is Lisa, Lenny, Hochstein versus Kat, who knows what her last name is. Who really cares?
Right. All from Miami.
From the Real Housewives of Miami.
Right.
So, one of the long-standing relationships from the franchise, Lisa and Lenny, been married 13 years.
And she's an original cast member.
Original.
Right. I mean, actually, most of Miami is original. I mean, nothing about them is original, but like their presence on the show.
Yeah, you got to see their relationship years back before the.
They took an 8-year hiatus.
Yeah.
And then they came back, guns blazing.
And I have to say, I don't know if it's because Lisa is a Leo with a Libra rising, like Jamie, my boyfriend, but I really like Lisa. I've liked her since the beginning.
She's very pretty.
She's very pretty.
She's very nurturing.
Very nurturing.
And you wouldn't necessarily assume that by the way that she looks. She has that classic kind of, not bimbo look, but, you know, she's had some work done.
But she's very sweet,
in all the areas.
Very kind, very non-confrontational amongst the friends.
Yeah.
Always trying to like bring people together when they're fighting. I liked her since the beginning, and I actually liked Lenny too. I liked
her
them
husband.
together.
I know. They had it was a great relationship. It seemed like a great relationship. He was the clear provider, but she was the clear nurturer.
Right. And okay, so she's not cooking and cleaning necessarily, but she was 100%.
But she told someone how to cook.
She was 100% devoted to him.
Totally.
In like a very sweet, pure way.
I mean, I don't think he's Jewish. I don't think she converted to Judaism, but she was like, okay, right. So she made it a big part of her life anyway. She wanted her kids to be Jewish. She created an incredible bond with his mother, who was like a Jewish refugee.
Yeah, she was
from
tough.
Eastern Europe. Right.
A tough sell. Mm-hmm.
So she was devoted.
I was going back over the some of the previous seasons with them together, and it's not always perfect. They kind of do have a sniping energy a little bit to them. They bicker.
That's okay. That's not a sign of a bad marriage.
But not at all. She definitely defends him, and she's like ride or die, right?
Right. She's the team. So they can bicker, but when they're in public, she's not going to throw him under the bus.
No,
and that's like a good partner.
That's a good point. Yeah, she never talked badly about him.
She never undermined him.
No.
In public, anyway. I mean, we don't obviously know what happens in private, but.
No, I think she was 100% in, which in some marriages, especially in probably Miami, you think that you're 100% in, but are you really? It's debatable.
But also, I mean, astrology aside, he's providing a very nice lifestyle. He's one of the best plastic surgeons in the country, in Miami, living La Vida Loca. They have parties every night. They live on Star Island. Right.
Yeah, of course.
So he is affording her an amazing life. She doesn't seem to be taking it for granted, though, I guess.
No, and I mean, I guess it brings us a little bit to now that he is insinuating that she considered him to be an ATM. I I mean, he is her
What's
ATM.
mine is yours and yours is mine.
Also,
that would, I guess,
she doesn't
make
work,
him an ATM
so
anyway.
the money does
Right.
come from his pocket.
Right.
So if he had weak boundaries with her, then that's a little on
Right.
him.
It is
I would
hard
say.
to readjust those money boundaries after so many years of marriage, I would think.
Right. Well, if it's a problem for him now, it's going to be a problem in his next relationship.
Perhaps. So what exactly happened? Because most of what happened, I think, has been off camera, because I watched the season and they allude to it a lot, but they don't really get into the nit and gritty. The down and dirty of
The
it.
down and dirty, the nitty gritty. I think that if I'm piecing the puzzle pieces together, because it's not very, you have to kind of assume, make some assumptions. She did say, I don't know if it was during the season or now, things I've been reading in articles and blogs, but she's never liked the parties, the annual parties. I think they always have a Halloween party. I think they have a couple other parties.
Right. They would throw these extravagant parties at their home, which is
over the top.
How much is their home worth? Like 60 million?
60 million, probably. Yeah. It's
50 million,
the old
something like that.
Scarface house that they tore down. These parties are the rich and the famous.
And very good looking women.
Yes. Because
Young women.
why not? Right.
He's a plastic surgeon.
He's a plastic surgeon. Yeah. This is his.
They are
he's
potential
catering-
business.
Yeah, he's
It's good
catering
PR.
to this. Yep. All these women can walk around and be like, Lenny did my boobs.
Yep. Which I'm sure they do.
Right.
And I'm sure he did.
Correct. So Lisa said that she never really loved the parties, which no wife would. But I also think that...
But she probably liked the business they produced.
Right. And also she has that like Medi-Spa portion of his business. So I'm sure she's like, well, this is just what we do. We're like in the business of making women feel better about themselves, feel beautiful, empower themselves, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You can poke holes in all of that, but that is the business they're in. And these parties where women, they're scantily clad, in thongs and like
It's also just
tiny
hot in
bikinis.
Miami. I mean, you wouldn't wear a lot either. It's just
Right, there's
it's
just
so
very-
the humidity down there.
Very scantily clad. And I guess she said that she saw them in the hot tub once alone together after one of the parties.
So this woman,
Her name is
Katerina.
Yeah.
She's how old? 28.
Yeah, almost 28. She's gonna be 28.
Almost
like,
28.
she's gonna be
Lenny is
28 next week.
57. Just so we get the ages right? And then
There's like a 30-year
Lisa is
difference.
41.
Yep.
Right. So Katerina was a model, or she's a very good-looking woman,
Yep.
invited
a model,
or somehow came to one of these parties.
Miss Vienna, some
right.
year, and a model locally living in Miami.
Right. Formerly
And-
married to a diplomat.
Yeah, a nice guy. I mean, they only got married, I think, in 2019.
I mean, COVID was tough for a lot of relationships.
It's kind. But her age also, she married somebody her age. They looked very in love. I watched like a crazy person. I watched
It wasn't
their
worth
wedding
$100
video.
million.
I watched their wedding video. It's online. I searched it.
You're a crazy person. And it looked nice. Where was the wedding? Does she look like
It was
the way
like in
she
Italy or
looked now?
France or something. She looks exactly the same. She's gorgeous. She's drop
Okay.
dead
Is he
gorgeous.
good-looking?
Yeah, I mean, he's
There's
not
a lot
my
of
type.
hesitation there.
Yeah, he's not my type. So
Like
I
she's
have,
just like categorically good looking, whether she's
he
your
is
type or
he
not.
is not, in my opinion, categorically good looking. She
Okay.
is like, whoa. She's
Yeah.
a 20 out of 10. He is a cute guy.
Okay. I mean, not to knock Lenny, or I guess to knock Lenny. Lenny also in the looks department is not.
He is lacking because could be all of their parents.
Well, not Lisa's, but
41, 57.
he'd be. It's a very teen pregnancy, but I guess technically yes, he could
Right.
be. But
I mean, he's 30 years older than Kat, and I mean, I'm sure they do have fun together, but it's an odd pairing for sure because he already has a hot wife, and they have two young children both are under the age of 10,
yeah.
and they've been waiting to have kids. It was hard for Lisa to get pregnant for a while. That was their like the first couple of years of Real Housewives of Miami. They were going through that struggle.
And the storyline was really if she couldn't have babies, he would probably leave her.
Yeah, because
right?
that
was her
always,
fear.
Yeah, that was her fear. And he always
turns out he was going to leave you.
He was going to leave you.
So at least you got some kids out of it.
Right. He got his kids. She got her kids.
Yes.
Looking at their charts, I don't know. I'm conflicted. Number one, we look at Lenny. He's a Gemini.
So what does that mean?
So he's the most social sign, likes to chat, likes to talk, like a lot of surface level chatter.
But also when he's talking, it's kind of almost like out of both sides of your mouth.
Oh, for sure. You know,
he's talking to talk.
He said, yeah. There's a duplicity, but there's also, I think a lot of people, I would say out of the most hated signs, they always say the most hated signs are Aries, Gemini, and Scorpio. So he has he has 3 planets in Gemini: Sun, Moon, and Mars. And I think he's probably all over the place. He doesn't even know what he wants.
I mean, it seems like he does know what he wants. Young and pretty.
Well, young and pretty for sure, but does he even really like there has to be.
Does he want to be fulfilled in his marriage? Probably not.
Probably not, because there's a lack in his relationship a little bit with Lisa. So I'm happy for Lisa. She's probably going to find somebody who's better suited for her.
Right.
Ultimately.
And can have a deep, true relationship, not some surface level.
Yeah, there's no sun moon connections with Lisa and Lenny.
There is some Venus, but not a lot of Venus.
Not a lot of Venus. We just got,
which is the love connection.
Yeah, we have Venus conjunct Jupiter. It's an outer planet. It's not Jupiter being an outer planet. It's not one of the inner planets. So they're not really super like pair bonded. But I think Lisa is a good partner for anybody because we got the Libra rising and the Libra Mars, which she could kind of, sometimes she maybe doesn't know what she likes sometimes because she can get along with a lot of different people.
Yeah. It seems like she likes a provider, not necessarily financially, but almost paternally.
She's looking for a daddy.
Not even like a daddy, but just like almost like a dad. Like
she doesn't have
like the nurturing part of the daddy.
She doesn't have any daddy issues in her chart. But I can see, of course, a woman being dependent on a man to give her money every day is a different type of, is a woman that I could not be. No. But it doesn't mean that I'm better or worse. It's just that's just not. It just my chart doesn't really bend in that way. So she and that's a Libra. I'm sure the Libra is like, once you're in a partnership, you do whatever you can to maintain the partnership, even if it's cutting yourself off at the legs, cutting yourself off the pass, like. Even if you're sort of cutting it
almost to your own detriment. It's like martyrdom a little bit, right?
Yes.
Like it doesn't matter really what I want. It matters what's good for the partnership.
Unit.
Which honestly makes a pretty healthy marriage.
I agree.
Right? Like, sure, you can be independent, but you do have to think in we.
Right. If you get married, you have to think in we.
Right.
Then don't get married. If you're only thinking about yourself, then like you're doomed.
Right. Is this good for us?
Right.
Is this relationship with this woman good for us? Is
Is
having these parties good for us? And it doesn't seem like he thinks about any of those things, but she goes along with all those things because she thinks that they're good for us. Also,
we got Libra and Gemini planets together. We got 2 of the air signs that are willing to, there's a fluidity in there. There's a movement.
Okay.
And there's being able to talk it through.
So are they mutable? Are they fixed? Are they cardinal? Are they?
I mean, Lenny's very mutable. She's mutable. No, she's cardinal and she's fixed. But even though, but Libra is like the trump card on a lot of things. They are the sign that wants to partner, and they will
sacrifice,
compromise. So we have Lenny, who likes to be out and about. Gemini,
sure. It's Miami.
Any Gemini that I know likes a party. It doesn't mean they like to drink and get drunk and do drugs. Though
like to be social.
Yeah, though I do know that too. They have 4,000 friends on Facebook. They think everyone's their friend.
Totally.
Or maybe it's superficial.
Right. So I don't know actually many Geminis, to be honest, but I do know a couple of Gemini risings, and they kind of fit that description. They have a lot of 2,000 friends on Facebook. They think they're probably closer than they are. The other person probably doesn't even remember them.
Correct.
Whereas I have 4 friends on Facebook, but
and I know where they are at all times.
2 of them are in this room probably.
Right. That is the
and we
difference.
just had dinner together.
Right. And we'll have dinner again in 2 more days because that's what we do every week. There is a strong difference in the air signs that way. So I think it's interesting to add Kat into the group. She's also a Leo.
Right. Fire sign.
She's like Lisa. She's a late Leo, August 19th.
So when you put
11th.
the elements together, I don't know if this is a chemistry question or not, but you put a fire sign with an air sign, does that explode?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Whereas a fire sign and a water sign, maybe the fire signs put down extinguish.
You don't see a lot of water and fire.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, but because of that.
Yeah.
They're like, this one's a wet blanket. This one's crazy.
And Earth, us.
I mean, we can.
I guess we're good with all of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, we're stable with all of it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if we want to deal with it.
That's not so exciting.
Right. And then I'm looking a little bit further into Lisa's chart, and she's got a lot of squares. So I was looking at what Lenny was saying about her recently in the press, which I don't love him talking nastily about her or defending himself. I was saying,
I also don't like how divorce in this celebrity realm is played out in the press.
Right, but I'm sure he has a PR agent, right?
No, I know. That's why it is. And it's for public opinion, because he has a public interest. She has public interest. But at the end of the day, a divorce really is it's just one couple disintegrating. Let's talk about that one couple. Let's talk about their kids. Let's talk about their assets. Enough.
Right, where's the fun in that?
But instead, we're he said that she was in the club at 3 a.m., but he said he was at the club at 2 a.m.
And
he
they're both in the club.
Right, exactly. We're all in the club.
We're splitting,
right.
We're splitting hairs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that your your inner ear, or what's it called? Not the inner ear. What is it called, Jamie? The in-ear.
You guys are wearing in-ears, in-ear monitors.
In-ear monitors. One of them keeps falling out of Jake's ear. Okay.
I can hear.
You don't need to hear me that loudly anyway.
No. It's grating.
I'm
kidding. Oh, for
cans?
sure.
Oh, no, the cans are too big for my
eyes. Distracts from the the cans and then this in front of me.
Wait, okay, back to Lisa. She's living two lives in her chart.
Which is displayed by what in her chart? Which aspect?
Her Sun square Mars, her Mercury square Mars, and they're both are squared by Jupiter, so it's intensified.
And so, what is just Mercury square Mars, just in general?
Okay, well, I have it, so I can put myself on blast right now.
Great.
I have a Sun square Mars, ascendant square the sun square ascendant, which is similar. I have a T-square. So I have a lot of Virgo planets and a lot of Sagittarius planets, and those two signs do not get along.
Earth and fire.
Earth and fire, boop, they just don't go along because Virgo is very analytical, quiet. I always think of, when I think of Virgo, I think of like a librarian or like a quiet teacher that has like a cardigan.
Like Beyonce.
Just like very like quiet.
Who is a Virgo?
And like very doing like, just.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Prim straight and proper. A's. Yeah.
Never breaks a rule.
Never breaks a rule.
Loves rules.
Right. Loves rules. Loves routine. Loves to help. Oh my God. Has their planner.
Loves tabs. Highlighters. I love all these things.
Now, see, that's more your... See, I hate all of those things. Oof. And that is because my chart is actually more dominant in Sagittarius, even though I'm a Virgo.
So you're more fun than the average Virgo.
I'm more fun, but I'm crazier because...
I mean, that's what I meant by more fun.
Because those two planets, when they square off like in a boxing ring, and they just... there's not, the tension is never really, it's never.
Well, so they're in a boxing ring, right? Virgo doesn't like to fight.
No.
Sag does.
He's like,
so Sag must win.
Sorry.
Every time.
Right. Like well, it just wants to be right.
The Sagittarian.
Right. Needs to be philosophical, needs to tell people what to do.
A little self-righteous.
Self-righteous. Always right.
Which is funny because Virgo's also always right.
So I'm always
and so is Capricorn.
Right. Oh my God, I'm so right. So
it's true.
When I first started getting into astrology, once I found this out about myself, I was like, this makes sense. And it made sense a lot when I look back and the people that I was dating.
Okay.
In my 20s, I would put on sort of this. There was one part of my personality that can be like very Virgoan. Mm-hmm. And I was very like quiet. And I was like, oh my God, like, yeah.
How many planets do you have in Virgo?
I have 2. But they're both in the Sagittarius house. So I'd be like, oh yeah, whatever you want to do. I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. And just super quiet and kind of humble and meek and oh yeah. But then all of a sudden, like there's this monster. Yeah, it's like ready to come out.
What activates it? Just when someone's wrong?
No,
when someone
honestly,
says the sky is red?
It would be activated around a year into a relationship.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I was done being that way, and I was like, wait, I don't want to be that way anymore.
Well, yeah,
I'm actually
who you are in a courtship is not who you are in a relationship.
No,
and that's not just being a Virgo or being a Sag. That's pretty universal.
I know. It's like, now here's the real me.
Artichoke. You peel it back layer by layer.
Right. Right now I'm coming out.
All right.
And so once I'm out of the box.
End of year 1.
Yeah, the toothpaste can be put in the tube. You could talk to
the heart of the artichoke.
Right. And everyone's very confused. Where did this come from?
Because you've changed the script.
Right. Well, it's because I wasn't really understanding that I'm both, and like I should try to kind of cater to both a little bit here and there, and not just embrace one part and then, try to play down the other.
Yeah. You are who you are.
You are. Know thyself. So now that's not so problematic for me because I don't try to be perfect and controlled and quiet and meek. Sometimes I'm that way. Probably, right. Most likely I'm that way at home. Mm-hmm. I'm not very much fun. Like I'm a little bit more fun in public. I have a Sagittarius rising, so it's all fun and games.
More of a chatty Cathy in public.
Right, you get me back home.
Yeah,
boop.
We're watching Real Housewives of Miami.
And we're quiet.
On repeat.
Yeah, there's no radio on. You could hear a pin drop if Housewives isn't on. There's nothing else going on.
Like that for 3 days in a row.
Boop. It's just like a flat line. But Lisa has the same problem in her chart.
So she's fighting. And what's this fight about?
So her fight is not Virgo versus Sagittarius
it's not
like me.
Librarian versus partier.
No, it is Leo versus Libra.
Which means?
It is the star of the show, narcissistic, That's kind of a negative
And
view.
good
but
hair.
Great hair.
Great hair.
God, beautiful. So just like the model, the star, the actress.
She lives on Star Island.
Yeah, she is everything. Like what you were saying when we talked about her earlier, like she is like his creation.
Yes.
It's like weird science. Like
It
she
is, but like honestly, like, you know, like Lenny's a dog. We don't like Lenny right now, but he's very good at his job. Like he is very good
She
at
looks
his
great.
job. She looks amazing.
Always has. She's a walking
She has
billboard.
not aged 1 minute.
That Sun and Leo, man. She looks fire.
Yeah.
She's great. You
Yeah.
know.
Hopefully they can keep up that relationship, doctor patient.
She'll find somebody even not even better. I don't know. But then she's got 2 Leo planets. She has Sun and Mercury and Leo. Like I have Sun and Mercury and Virgo. Interesting. Okay.
But so she has this Leo fighting this Libra.
Libra,
So
which
Leo the star, Libra the
wife,
the compromiser.
the great compromiser.
Great.
The part of the duo, the one, you know, willing to compromise, stand by her man, stand in his shadow a little bit.
Tammy Wynette.
Very elevating him, which I think honestly she did a lot. She was like always be like, I'm his best creation. Look, it's my
exactly.
husband.
Just
It's my
by
husband.
existing, she is promoting him because
Right, and she would always talk about him. Like
Yep.
she was very much his biggest fan.
yeah, just as she was kind of his muse.
Yeah, so there was a good
They
that
did have a
kind
good
of-
symbiotic relationship
that played
in that sense.
yeah, played off well. But I think that if she's both of these people, just like I'm both of, I'm the Virgo.
The me
and
versus
Sag.
we.
And she is the me versus we. I'm sure he can look at some of her behavior and be like, it's too
me.
It's too me,
Too
me,
self-centered,
me,
too
too self-centered.
narcissistic.
Yeah. But that's inherently who she is. But there's a positivity to that because she's a star.
Right. I mean,
She's also on the show.
in most people's bad traits, there's also some type of positive in them.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yes, she is a star of a TV show.
Right. And she brought him along.
That's
And
true.
I'm sure it
How
only-
much business has he created since
Because of that.
she started
Right.
in the show?
And because she was so well received, everybody has loved Lisa from the beginning.
Right. Because she's
She was
not
nev-
dramatic. She's not polarizing. She's not divisive.
Nope. She's very nice. All the girls love her.
And she has a good time.
She never
Sometimes
says
she's a little prima donna, and that's when the me comes out.
yeah, like the
when-
hair and the.
But when they went to the Hamptons,
Yep.
she refused to stay in a room that either didn't have a bathroom or I forget what the situation was, but she was very upset about the room situation.
But she
that's a
never
me.
gets crazy though.
No.
Which I really like.
No.
But yes,
But
she
I would-
has.
I'd also say, like, you know, so like this is a battle, right? The me versus we. But then you get married and you have kids. And one of those must win a little bit. Like the we. For her, because because the rest of her chart seems to be so nurturing. And
Yeah, she has
she's
a
so
very nurturing
nurturing
chart.
that the me, yes, while she's still a TV star, you know, she's very loving and nurturing to her family.
Yeah, and
that's
very
the we.
devoted. And
Right,
I'm
very
sure you could have
devoted.
gotten away with a lot of stuff with her, and he probably did for a while. But this is where it draws a line.
Well, he
when
left
it was
her.
no, well, I think it was public humiliation prior to, like, people were kind of calling.
So you're saying this whole situation could have happened and she would have gone back to him? If he
Yes, and she
if
said
he-
it too.
Oh.
In the very beginning of last
At the
season,
beginning,
she
though,
said,
but
then
now,
she knew.
today,
She knew.
Today.
No, well, of course, they're engaged.
This is insane. Well, right, I mean,
But she would have relented. Because she always said that. She's like, I've been with him since I've been young.
she went from her parents' house to his house, right?
Yeah. So she's like, I've only known being with Lenny. Like, I'll be with him until the day I die.
He did not feel the same.
Which is it sucks. It's like every woman's worst nightmare.
I mean, it's I think, person's worst nightmare. This
Sure.
doesn't just happen to women.
It's true.
And it doesn't just happen in heterosexual relationships. It's like
It's true.
when you get married, I think a lot of people probably feel they push to get married because they think with that comes security. Not financial security, but security in the relationship.
Right.
But it doesn't. It just means now you're married.
Right. And I'm sure her claims, I see some stuff in her chart. She's got Mars conjunct Jupiter. It's also conjuncting Pluto. When those planets all come together, it's considered to be a hard aspect in the chart, but it's more they're all sitting on top of each other. So it's more like it's turned into like just a...
And this is Mars in relation to these 3 planets. So,
Yeah, so
what do these 3 planets represent? Like, what is
we got
Pluto?
action, power, luck. It's just...
So Jupiter's luck.
Yes.
Pluto is...
Pluto is control and power.
And what was the other planet? Mars is action.
And action and moving forward. So she's moving forward. It's like, they got the house on Star Island. They figured out how to have the children. Like they were a very successful couple for many, many years. And she's not really hitting some of the roadblocks that a lot of other people hit.
Sure.
She seems naturally lucky because
that
in a
Jupiter
lot of ways, Jupiter connection
is touching Jupiter.
Your power
the
and your actions are very lucky. So she is a lucky gal.
Right.
Now we look at Lenny, and I hate to be, of course, everyone's dragging Lenny right now.
He's a dog.
He's a dog.
We can drag him. He's a dog.
We can drag him.
He left his family, shacked up with a 27-year-old, 27-year-old, proposed to her before even being divorced. He's a dog. He's a dirty dog. You can drag him.
Okay, then I will.
Yeah.
I liked him for so long. I would have never thought that. Also, seeing how devoted she was to him.
He also just represented an NJB, a nice Jewish boy. That's just
he did.
Really kind of makes a perfect husband because I'm Jewish. Some of the wives of these,
or more
nice Jewish boys are the wear the pants.
Wear the pants. Yeah.
They're the crazy Jewish mother.
Yeah,
right?
and
everyone answers to your Jewish
the top,
mother.
Yeah, they're the top of the pier.
And then that means actually they're next because they're the next Jewish mother.
Right.
And so there's these good boys who worship kind of the ground that these women walk on.
Which I thought Lenny was.
Right, exactly. And that's how he kind of purported himself to be. That's how he projected himself to be, excuse me. And
did your other inner ear come out?
No, I just saw someone we know who reads tarot. Well, anyway, so, he's purporting himself to be this nice Jewish boy. He has such a good relationship with his mother. You know what I mean? Which is also another hallmark of this. He's not that good looking. He's kind of he's...
I wish we would have watched...
Putz.
He is a putz. But it says great plastic surgery. Wait.
He's very good at his job.
I did rewatch this episode, and I wish you had rewatched it with me. It was just a couple days ago. I had some time. I went back to whatever season it was. But it was when Lenny and Lisa are at dinner with Lenny's parents.
Okay.
And this is when they're confronting Lenny's mother about being mean to Lisa.
Sure. Who, by the way, is not Jew or was not Jewish when they got married.
Yeah, I think she's converted. I can't remember the details on that, but
Jamie, did she convert to Judaism?
Can you see if Lisa Huckstein converted to Judaism, please? Huckstein, same difference. Not at all. Well, it doesn't matter anymore because she's going to go back to her legal name, I hope.
Whatever that is. But
ooh, what is it?
Ooh, that's the next question for Jamie.
I loved it because he defended Lisa.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He stood up to his mother. It was amazing. I've been in a relationship before when my boyfriend's mother would go for me, and my boyfriend at the time just sat there and let me take it.
Yeah.
It says Lisa
Huckstein.
It says she's Catholic, even though she did decide to raise her kids Jewish.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but she was. All I know is she was so respectful
She was.
Their family's
Yes.
faith, because I know that was so important to his parents and his mother, who were kind of these, I don't know if they were refugees, but they escaped Eastern Europe, landed in Miami, I guess. But
it was acrimonious between Lisa and Lenny's mother, and they were very direct about it. I kind of liked that. Lisa and Lenny, there was zero bullshit, as we would say. Like, they're just like, they're like,
bullshit and tower.
yeah, they're like, Lisa.
Wait, can we stop for 1 second?
Yeah.
This is like killing me.
I wanted to wave to him, but
I waved.
we're gonna go back to
Lenny and Lisa and his mom.
such a good. It's captivating for me.
Well, it's captivating now because he stood up to his mom in defense of Lisa, right?
So this is seasons ago.
Right.
At dinner.
Today.
Okay, but can I just get?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I was like, he went against his mother. A lot of men do not.
Especially a lot of NJBs.
Correct. In front of his father, too. Was like, no.
Has he since passed away?
Probably.
Okay.
He was like, You're good. He's like, you are rude to my staff, my drivers, my friends, my wife.
It can also be cultural. She's Eastern European.
That's kind. I think that I was like, damn, I was like, that he has really got Lisa's back. And I was like, they're really a team. And
That's a we. That's the we.
And that endeared me to him.
Mm-hmm.
Things have since changed.
Right. And so Lenny just announced his engagement.
Wait, stop, because I know you can go back to this and you're good at this. Remember last season that I hadn't watched until I got
Peacock.
Peacock, thank you.
My Peacock.
We signed in together. I watched last season. They had that lunch together. Lisa and the mom.
Yes, and
tell me about that.
So
I can't remember all the details.
I recall this is kind of right when the story broke.
Yes.
Right, and so Lenny. Actually, I don't think the story had broken.
They
Lenny
were the club.
had just left Lisa, had asked her for a divorce, very nonchalantly, actually, like in their bedroom, and maybe not the next day, but the next, within the next couple of days, Lisa and his mother go to lunch. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing TV. This is going to be fireworks because they're both probably going to read each other the riot act. And this is going to be awesome. Because Lisa's mother-in-law never really liked her. Lisa actually never did dislike the mother-in-law, actually. Right.
Yeah.
And the mother-in-law's, Lenny's mother, her first instinct was to side with Lisa.
Right.
That her son is going through a
midlife crisis.
Right, a midlife crisis. That he's acting irrational. That he's not being who he truly is. And she was on Lisa's side, like no questions asked.
I loved it.
And I think and I don't know if I remember this exactly, but I think she even said to Lisa that she would try to help her fix all this.
Yeah, or like I'll talk to him. I gotta talk. Or like
right, exactly.
Yeah, there was like it was almost implied. Like
right.
Thank you for telling me. Like
so they must have talked because the next time you really hear from the mother,
or you don't even hear from her,
is now a year later, and Lenny is getting engaged, and the mother could not be happier. She sent
I have to
an incredibly public congratulatory comment on his Instagram post about his engagement. Wow, by the way, keep in mind, he is still married to Lisa.
Lenny's mother.
And what did she say?
Says, I will be very happy that this time you are getting a woman who loves and respects you.
Such shade. Also, by the way, you can congratulate someone without shading
the last sentence,
the other person.
You certainly did not have that in your previous marriage. Good luck. Congratulations. Red heart.
Right. You can congratulate someone without shading the ex-wife.
Also, why is the mama on Instagram. How old is the mom? He's 57. She is easily 20 years ahead of him.
I would say she's pushing 80, if not in her 80s.
What is she doing?
I mean, what's her history on Instagram? Maybe she just got it just for this.
No, she's had it for a while.
Okay, but no, but
because she's commented before and stuff. I can't remember.
So
what she
now
said,
there's
but
backlash, of course, and it's why did she do this quick 180? Or not quick? It's been a year, I guess. But why did she do this 180? She's not just congratulating her son, which of course that's her prerogative, that's her child, but she's shading Lisa.
That's called the money train.
Correct. Who pays the bills?
Lenny does.
Lenny.
And she's not going to ostracize herself from her son, her grandchildren.
And perhaps, by the way, so those many years ago.
She's not going to take Lisa's side.
But the many years ago when he stood up to her, maybe that's when he realized, I'm the conductor on this money train.
Right.
So whatever I say goes. So
well,
I
of course it does. Who has the money?
I know, but a lot of people still acquiesce to the mother.
To the mother.
And he did not. And she has done a complete 180 and has now acquiesced to him. Or submitted, not even acquiesced.
Yeah,
like
and
she's
denouncing
now she's,
any involvement with Lisa, who is
pushing
the
narrative.
mother of her grandchildren, but she doesn't care.
That's what I don't understand about all these public divorces. You know, like, you still have to co-parent. Your even if you are, even like Lisa's parents, Lenny is still the parent of their grandchildren. There has to be some type of respect.
And I guess sometimes in divorce, you can either be in it together or you're like respectfully just not engaged together. Like you're just not.
You communicate through lawyers. You communicate.
Yeah, and like you keep
it can be so acrimonious, I guess. But
the best
when
way
your
is
parents start commenting is a different.
Oh, it's
we're talking
so
about something
low and
totally
petty.
Different.
It's
right.
so petty.
Like there have been explosive
if my mother said something like that, my father
planet.
said something like that on Instagram, I'd be like, delete that. I'm like, you're just like adding fuel to the fire. This is ridiculous. You can't say that.
One of the first like publicly acrimonious divorces was Ivana Trump and Donald Trump. That was played out in the press. It was on Page 6. It was ridiculous. No one was talking to their parents. No one was asking their parents
to comment on the photo.
That's crazy. Because it's crazy.
It's crazy, but people love it.
Not that I'm defending the Trumps.
No, well, people. That's what people love about social media is all of a sudden you've got like a. It's voyeuristic.
You have a platform.
Yeah,
right.
you have a platform, and you can see.
We're sick for liking the post. We're looking at it. But I don't know. The parents get a job. I mean, I guess they're retired, but
get a hobby.
Just count your money. Play tennis. Play golf.
Hang out with the grandkids. Why are
do some charitable work.
Yeah, exactly. I still have to help my mom.
Spend your time seeing your grandkids.
I have to help my mom upload a photo properly to Instagram. So that makes me think: did his mother really know what she was saying?
She's not doing her own Instagram.
That'd be crazy,
right? Because this is all part of. Notice how it always comes out.
She's like, Lenny, write this, and then he like types it. She's like,
by the way, if Lisa had no reaction to the Instagram post announcing the engagement announcement
was my favorite,
and her post was savage.
I
it
loved
was congratulations to my husband and his mistress for their engagement. Period. That's actually kind of something I would say. But it's awesome because they're still married. But because she said that, he has to kind of one-up her in the PR, in the media.
He's like he's trying
to court public opinion. And no one's going to say, I guess we just did, but some 80-year-old, Jewish refugee from Eastern Europe is nefarious. But
all I know is he's protecting a business that's female driven.
His clientele is female, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's going to drag Lisa through the dirt.
But what's silly is
to protect himself.
But she is actually a partner, a business partner in some
In
of
the
his
spa.
business.
In the spa,
So
yeah.
it doesn't even behoove him to drag her.
He's gonna light on fire, and like that's why we're gonna look at his chart for a second,
Yeah.
and we're gonna see
Is there a lot of fire? I know there's a lot of Gemini.
there's zero fire. So we got Sun, Moon, Gemini, Mars also in Gemini. So we have a.
That was straight face.
Do it one more time.
Wait, so excuse me? What?
No, you do it right.
So he has a stellium in Gemini. What is a stellium?
It's 3 or more planets in the same sign or the same house.
Okay.
Some degrees will change whether or not it's in the same house, but it's in the same sign.
Okay. So like
There's like
I
a
have a
little
stellium
movement.
in the same sign, not the same house.
Yes.
I have 3 in Virgo,
And even if there's like a
which makes
move,
me ultra Virgo. Boop, boop.
so exacting. So fun.
It's true.
So we got a very Gemini guy. And what's interesting is more of the aspects in his chart, which there's some aspects that I don't like. There's always some aspects that I don't like.
Okay.
I have to say, he doesn't have my most hated aspect,
Which is,
Moon square Saturn.
do we know anyone like that?
I do, but I won't tell you who it is.
Okay. Not on the show.
Not on this show. Sorry.
You tell me after.
Okay. Jamie knows this person too. But this would be one. It's a step. It's in the same vein. It's maybe not as emotionally charged and cold, but his sun is squaring Saturn, and this just means he's not very nice. He's not very nice, and maybe Lisa, who loves to put on a good show with her Leo moon and her Libra rising, that might be the little fake part that people would assume comes with Leo and Libra. There's a fakeness because it's too perfect. It's too nice.
Right.
It's too.
We have a perfect marriage. There are no problems.
They
Lenny
look
is
beautiful.
so kind.
He's so sweet.
He's never said a bad thing to us. But not unfortunately, fortunately for us, the cameras are rolling in their home.
And he's not very nice.
He's not very nice to her really at all in this last season. You know, so, you know, we were just told that she's Catholic but wanted to raise her kids Jewish because he is Jewish. And she's actually like, they're at a table and his mother is there. And they're at the table in the kitchen. And she's kind of begging him to, you know, talk about Judaism to these kids. It's Shabbat. She's like, well, what is the importance of Shabbat? Like, why are we celebrating this? And he is just kind of on his phone, which
He's
you're
checked
not
out.
supposed to do on Shabbat. And
Ooh.
he's just totally checked out and giving her, you know, monosyllabic answers, just not even engaged. I did go to college. And he's not engaged at all.
Yeah, he's
And
very
then-
dismissive of anything. He's just like,
Totally.
stop.
And Lisa brings it up a couple times saying, hey, listen, like, this is for you. This is for your mom. This is for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to
At
like
least
have a connective time.
Couldn't do it. Then the next time we see them, which I think is really the last time, is she prepared some type of dinner for them at their house outside. So it's the two of them.
She prepared it?
No. She prepared for it to be made.
Oh, I was
Excuse
like,
me.
this is a stretch. I was like, I call
She
bullshit.
organized a dinner.
Okay, which is nice.
And it looked phenomenal. Everything was smoking and on fire. And
Okay,
like, you know,
right.
the cocktails were smoking. There
It
was
was
like,
just very,
you know, a mixologist there. And
Yeah.
it was like, yeah,
they were
it was
living a
amazing.
life.
And she was just trying to engage in pretty normal conversation. How was your day? And he was just so short, so
asshole.
uninterested, again on his phone. Yes, he is a businessman. Yes, he is very busy.
I think he could take a minute.
However, right, exactly. Like he can take 30 minutes to just engage with his wife at dinner unless he's not doing business on his phone. He's talking to the mistress.
And
Which would make him just kind of inherently more dismissive to his wife. Being like, hey, on my phone I'm doing something I really like to do.
Or as a Gemini, he likes to talk. He likes to talk to anybody other than his wife, maybe.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
And I mean, you know, sometimes it's like how many, you know, they've been together for 13, 14 years.
Married for 13, right?
So it's like, how many conversations can you really have with that person? Like, you're not like getting to know that person. But if you're also just not trying to relate to them and have a conversation, like, what should we do next? Like, are we going to, I don't know. What do they do? Decorate?
I don't know what they do, but
decorate, or like, you know, what are they going to do with the Medi Spa, or, you know, they have joint ventures.
But
like, they should be talking to each other, like, about their shared interests.
But I will say, you know, even after that dinner, so the scene actually is fairly comical. So after the dinner, or during the dinner, one of their maids falls in the shower and breaks her arm.
I literally didn't see that.
She has to go to the hospital. And Lisa, who is so, again, just like naturally nurturing. This is when you, I think, really see people for who they are, right? When a situation like this comes up. So Lisa jumps out of her chair. She's so concerned for the welfare of either, I don't know if it's their housekeeper or their...
Are you okay up there? She seems to be having a problem regulate her swallowing recently.
Ooh.
Jamie, I need more wine.
Okay.
Oh. Is that what it was? I had a really good
My
point.
love.
I had a really good point.
I was like, what did you even inhale? Because you don't have anything up there.
I just feels like
You're done.
I'll put in my cuppy.
Hold on.
You were on a roll.
I had a really good point.
I know, and we got
I can't go back.
we got to start that.
I'm going to bed. I gotta go home.
What?
I'm kidding.
What we're trying to get like.
I know, we just want Lisa. We want Lisa on our side. And I'm
Lisa,
about to
I love
get,
you. I love you,
I'm
Lisa.
about
We
to
love
get
you. We love you.
Lisa
We love you.
on our side.
Lisa,
This
I love
episode
you.
does require a lot of editing. Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah, this is gonna give you all next tomorrow.
Boom, boom. All right. So during this fairly, intense dinner where neither of them are really speaking.
Romantic. It was supposed to be romantic.
The scene is incredible, right? They're on Star Island overlooking the ocean.
Their infinity pool.
There's an infinity pool. Their personal chef has
It
created
looks
this
gorgeous.
incredible food. The smoke is billowing from their cocktails. It's
That's amazing.
It's great.
I would die if
He's on
I
his
need this
phone.
with Jamie.
He's on his phone, not giving her the time of day.
So sad.
Right? She's really just trying to connect in a very earnest way. Yes, she didn't make the food, but she did ask for it to be made. That's a skill in itself.
He already knows she can't cook. That's
Right? Yeah.
we're 14 years in.
Exactly. Right. So she's doing the best that she can in terms of putting on a dinner. And
Right.
by the way, I'd go to that dinner.
Right, I'd take anything that was made out of that home.
And then there's kind of a comical break when one of their housekeepers, I guess, falls in the shower and breaks her arm. And I think in a situation like this, your immediate response, right? It's like fight or flight or fawn and that's kind of who you are innately, which is kind of who
That's
you
your
are
instincts.
astrologically, right?
It's your moon sign.
And so as soon as this happens, this woman, I don't know if it was their maid or their housekeeper or their
A nanny.
But as soon as this happened, Lisa kind of jumps up and she's so concerned and she's so not apologetic, but she
is that way.
She's just so nurturing. And she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. My shower was slippery. She went above and beyond and she wanted this woman taken in an ambulance. She wanted her to have the best care. She wanted her to be taken care of, period. And Lenny basically chastised Lisa saying, this is just a broken arm. She doesn't need, an ambulance. We don't need to go through the theatrics. And part of me is, well, I guess he is maybe a little right because he actually is a doctor. But the other part is he's just cold. He's just like, you're fine. Go to the hospital on your own. And Lisa is like
no, we can
caring for this
yeah.
person, and I don't think she's thinking of potential lawsuits or anything like that. I think just her
No, she's
initial
like, you need to
reaction
get
is
care.
you need care. Let us get you the best care. Let us get you to the hospital right now.
Right now.
And her and Lenny he just completely cut her off. I might be mistaken, but he may have said something akin to, "You're being stupid. You don't need, like, this is so unnecessary."
Yeah.
And all she was really trying to do is help someone who was
And
in pain.
I genuinely believe, like, okay, I have an affinity for her. There can't, like, I
For
can't
sure.
deny it, but I have to also say that I'm pretty objective. I don't think that, like, I'm just team Lisa. I just think that she just is pretty neutral across the
I
board.
just like her, yeah.
Yeah, I like her. She's across the board, just she doesn't fight dirty. She's not, like, no low blows. She's just, like, pretty. I don't think it's an act, because I don't really think that that's in her nature to
Right.
act.
Yeah, I agree.
She is who she is. Now, Lenny.
But she has that astrological, she has nurturing aspects in
Yes,
her
Venus
chart.
and Cancer. She loves
Right.
to, like, she loves a baby.
The Venus and
She
Cancer.
loves a baby. She loves a nurture.
Right, which is all about home. And
Yeah, she loves
being a
home. She wants to
mom.
be at home. She wants to be inside the house. She wants.
And she
to
might
be,
not be able to cook dinner, but she will get dinner on the
But she
table.
wants to be in there.
But
She's in there.
But she'll get dinner on the table. She'll make sure you eat.
Yeah, no, that's definitely. I don't have that. That's why no one's eating in my house. There's no snacks.
It's true.
There's barely any snacks in there.
Sometimes there's cheese.
Ooh, cheese
Like
sticks.
slices of
Love
deli
it.
cheese.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Which I
course.
love. That's all I
Lenny has some more problematic parts of his chart that, I mean, we have the Sun square Saturn, which is just going to make him very cold, very cutting, very critical.
So it's funny though, right? These actually are, so I kind of said before, even your bad aspects, there are positive aspects to them. So all of the aspects that you just said probably makes you a very good plastic surgeon who owns his own practice. It
Right,
does
'cause
not
he
make him
is.
necessarily a good husband.
No, great. Yeah, right. And also, notorious, they squares to, especially Saturn squares, to the sun, to the moon, to Venus, and to Mars, give you an insecurity. If you don't have that square, you feel more empowered and passionate. You have a strength. He has an insecurity there, and
That's
it's probably in his ego, because it's a sun. So
It's not good enough.
it's not good enough. Maybe he's not the best breast. Ooh, breast. Maybe
Yeah,
he struggles
He probably
to
didn't,
keep.
I don't think he went to Harvard Med School.
Yeah, maybe
I don't
he
think he was
struggles
number one
to
in
keep
his class.
that high spot of the best plastic surgeon in a very, very competitive market.
And wanna what probably helps alleviate that chip on your shoulder?
Lisa.
Leaving your 41-year-old wife for a 7-year-old.
I thought, well, alleviating it for so long was having Lisa be your
Oh, sure. Just adoring him.
adoring
Just
him,
Complete
giving
adoration
him
all the
complete
time.
adoration. Everywhere she went, she was
But
like, Lenny's
would you
the best.
rather have adoration from a 41-year-old or a 27-year-old?
From a 40-something-year-old.
Well, you and I are Virgos, so we both agree. But
Because
but I'm just saying in public perception, in just terms of them going out, he's now a little bit. Men will think.
right,
he's
got
gotten
a tummy
he's
tuck.
The man
He got
now
a tummy tuck.
because he has this 27-year-old.
He has the hair plugs.
Yep. He's got the teeth.
He's got the not the dentures. Oh my God, what are they?
They're not
veneers.
dentures, but they do kind of look. That new style of veneers look.
It has such a denture. It has such a
dentured
like a
look. It's
plate.
like that Al
it's like that
Pacino
plate.
look.
Okay.
Right, yeah, they're all the same
Regardless,
length.
he needs to stay relevant. He wants to make
sure.
sure that he can still bang the hottest girls in Miami. Of course he can bang the hottest girls in Miami because
He's
they're banging you because you're rich.
He's the top plastic surgeon.
They'll
in
bang
the
him if
town.
he's in a wheelchair.
I know, but when your ego
but like,
I know.
listen to me. This is a great. Wait, this is my point here. This is fueled by wine and anger about how the difference between men and women.
Let's hear
I do not.
Venus versus Mars.
Boo, 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 boo. I do not want to have sex with a man who is going to have sex with me. It's like a pity. He'll have sex with me, but he doesn't really want.
Fuck.
It's a pity fuck. He's like, I'll have sex with you because you want to have sex with me. I'll give you what you want, but I don't actually want to have sex with you.
Oh, I would kill myself.
I would never. The man has to choose me, and he has to be like, I'm going to have sex with you. And I'm like, yes, we will then have sex. Yeah. I will never convince a man to have sex with me because in my mind, I'll be like, is he just doing this to make me feel better? Like because he can have sex with anybody.
I mean, I'm a Venus and Leo. I'm not convincing anyone to be with me.
Nobody. But
no
difference. A man will have sex with a woman even if that woman doesn't. This girl doesn't want to have sex with him. She
Katarina?
will. I mean, girls will have sex with anybody. You can
She's
close your eyes.
getting married to him. What do you mean she doesn't want to have sex with him?
And you're just like, oh.
Well, she got that 13-carat diamond.
Or more. And that is the problem right there is, but why does he not think, as a man, now tell me, where is
I'm
the
representing all men right now.
Yeah, because
In
there's
this
only
answer?
men.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
Where he's going to have sex with her, even though she maybe doesn't, she wouldn't, if he just worked at
If he was Joe
Ace,
the plumber.
if he worked at Ace Hardware, right? Would she fuck him?
I don't know. Does she need to get...
No!
What's her job?
No.
Does she work at Kmart?
Wait, who are you? Do you work for her right now? What are you talking about? If Lenny worked at Ace Hardware, would Kat have sex
By the
with
way,
that
no
man?
disrespect to Ace Hardware.
I
They
love
have
it.
Done,
I
they
know.
built
I
my
actually,
hotel
I'm
down the
also.
street.
I'm sorry. I actually am a member. I love them. Actually, I love them.
I love the free popcorn. I will tell you that.
Okay, I'm sorry. We love Ace Hardware. But I'm saying the
Joe,
hardware store.
I get it.
The hardware store. If Lenny was there and he was like, hey, he was like, whoa.
Yeah, she's like,
she's like, okay, Dad.
Just tell me where the pain is and leave me alone.
Yeah, she's like, don't touch me.
Right. Okay. He doesn't care. He's
What?
getting some young pussy. Sorry.
No.
But that's, and I'm a gay man, but that's the male perspective, to be honest.
No, because she's not doing it because she wants to. She's not there like,
No, I'm saying,
oh my God, just fuck me.
Are you asking me why she
Stop.
wants it or why he wants it?
No, but why doesn't he not feel like
Because
that's...
he doesn't care.
But that's wrong.
But
because
he's in.
she's just like...
He's getting it in whether she wants it or, I mean... It's
She
not
does-
rape. No, I mean,
Of
I just mean
course-
like,
no, we're not-
right.
yeah,
I was saying
like-
he's getting it in whether she wants it or not, but like, she has signed up for it. She has co-signed it, and so he doesn't care if she really wants it or not. She is a 27-year-old babe that he just wants
she's
to
hotter.
get in.
She's hotter than most like A-list celebrities,
yeah.
and he is just banging her.
These guys
As
are
Lisa
looking-
said, that he used to bang her like a chicken cutlet.
I don't even know what that means. Do chicken cutlets get banged?
Yeah, when you pound them.
Oh, like pounding it?
Yeah, she said that Lenny used to bang her like a
It's
chicken
very,
cutlet.
Like sophomoric sex. That's like high school sex.
I love it. Okay,
I
but
love it. Yeah.
my
great.
point, listen, my
It's a time
point,
and
but you
place.
have to know what my point is.
I
Is
do.
that
I
like,
totally understand
why does a man be like, man, this girl doesn't actually want to fuck me?
Because he just wants to have sex. Because in that moment, his desire for having sex
He's
in
like,
that
this
moment,
girl is gonna let me get inside that hole.
right? He's like, she doesn't really want to, but she said she does. I can either say no because of my pride, and then wait either and not have sex tonight, or have to go talk to someone else, and that might take another 30 minutes. Whereas this is a sure thing because she said it. She said, "I'll have sex with you," so I'm gonna go have sex with you, even if she doesn't really want it. Even though, but she's giving him the veneration, the adoration that he needs.
Listen to me. If Ryan Gosling walked into this door and he was like, I want to have sex with you.
Well, I think that maybe
No.
what you're describing is the sex drive difference between women and men.
I'd be like, he doesn't want to have sex with me. I'm like, I'm not going to have sex with this guy. He's giving me like, is this like a challenge? Is this like, this is
you
like,
want Ryan Gosling to woo you. And then, so
Jamie was like, good try.
So
like,
you want
good luck,
you want
Ryan Gosling.
to woo you, to prove that he wants to have sex with
Well,
you.
I know he doesn't want to have sex with me. Just like Kat doesn't want to have sex with Lenny. Like, let's not. Like,
They're getting married. She's having sex with them
for money.
But I think what you're describing though is this sex drive. Period. Men, we don't care. What does your dad always say?
Let's not.
So there's an expression out there.
No, let's not. Because I said the other day, and he was like, "Don't say that anymore." I was like,
But you can still say there's an expression out there.
We'll next time. I will tell you what he said at another time. It'll be disguised of somebody else's.
What did my dad say about?
But
he just wants to get it in.
Now, listen,
women don't need to get it in.
Listen to me though. When you said if you thought some guy was going to have sex with you out of pity because maybe they thought they're like, oh, Jake, you know, he's got great family businesses. He's well established. He's a nice Jewish boy, but he was doing it out of maybe he thought you were going to pay his bills. Would you still bang him? You're like, of course.
It's like,
you're like, this is
because I'm also getting something out of it. It's a transactional. This is just like a one night stand,
right? But is he? But the guy
in the one night stand, actually, I win. He thinks I'm going to pay his bills. I'm not. And so cool. I just got it in, or he just got it in. And
you're like, bye.
Right? Yeah. Like, fool me once. No. So what are you talking about?
Oh, okay, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
That's my Aries. That's my.
You were not gonna let me have that, but
no, I was not.
I have to say that there is something that, yeah, I guess if you can buy a bride or you can buy someone to have sex with you, that's what they're doing.
But I think
it happens with 90 Day Fiance when they find these people from abroad that would never have sex with them in this country, and they're like, we're in love, and I'm like, this is wild.
And one of them's 4'1". One's
just one's deaf, doesn't even speak their language. Now I'm touching mine because you're touching yours.
I know. I mean, they definitely don't speak the same language. One's in jail.
When you just said I'm touching mine and you're touching yours, for people who are only listening, you might want to describe what.
Okay, I was just touching the inner ears,
mine and she was touching hers. What?
my inner ears.
You were touching her inner ear.
Your inner.
That's not what I was touching. But
can you just say that I'm right a little bit?
I agree to a point. I think what you opened up is a whole larger conversation about transactional sex. I guess kind of all sex is transactional unless you're just two drunk people at a bar banging it out in the bar bathroom. Because, you know, if you get married to someone you're having sex, there is an expectation, whether you are the breadwinner or not,
that you're going to have sex with them.
Right? And
well, of course you have to have sex.
But if you're the non-breadwinner, then there's an expectation that you're going to be taken care of.
Well, you have sex to keep getting taken care of.
Right. So I guess the only way to prove your theory is if no one had any money and we were all just in the jungle, who would have sex with whom?
All the best-looking people would have sex.
Yes, obviously.
Like, so, right. Again, Kat would not be having sex with Lenny.
But he has power and money, so...
how humans started.
Say
that again?
Darwinism?
Yes.
This is our producer, Jamie, that only we can hear.
Jamie is talking about Darwinism. Yeah, all the attract.
Yes, survival of the fittest.
Yeah, in
survival of the wealthy, survival of the good-looking. Even survival of the tallest. Have you ever gone to so I'm shorter. You go to a party and there are a couple people who are just taller than everyone else. They just kind of can lock eyes.
That's true.
Because they see each other and now they're friends.
Tall men will always get laid. They're not even that good looking. They're the first.
But it's just
to get in.
Right.
Yeah.
There's something about it. There's a comfort level.
It's true. Okay, we can say the same. all the girls that I know that had really
You stick
big
to your
boobs,
tribe.
really big tits in high school, they all got married first. You know? Because some guys like, these are the biggest tits I'm ever going to find. They're like, I'm going to marry her. I'm going to impregnate her. Because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to come next. But it's not going to be
Is there
this.
like an astrological aspect for big tits?
There is. Cancer rising.
Wow.
And I know a bunch. And they all have big tits.
Are you serious right now?
Yes. It's the mother. It's the mother.
Oh, they probably have like wide hips too. Childbearing
They
hips.
got boobs. And when guys are like, this is, I got to marry this one.
Wow. But she's going to bear my children.
Right? Or I'm just going to
Or
motorboat her.
I'm just going to motorboat her.
I'm going to motorboat her every day.
Right, because maybe he's infertile.
Just like,
motorboating.
she doesn't even know if she wants her or not, but she's
I'd
like, I guess.
motorboat her.
I mean,
I don't
would
even.
too. God. I mean, but this is like, it's tall men, girls with big tits. Because he's taller. If he's in a fight, he's going to defend his woman. If she's going to have your kids, she is going to feed them.
I mean, this is like a very Virgoan thing for me to say. With like politicians. We vote for the taller politician. Just
Of course.
subconsciously.
You don't want a tiny
Napoleon.
Neapolitan high school. The little
he
man
did well
syndrome.
for his height.
Oh, please.
Oh, please. What do you mean? He did very well for his height.
Hi. I mean, but there's that complex, of course, the small man complex.
Also, people you respect, you think of as taller than they actually are.
George Clooney.
Sure. Well, actors are tough because
Jared Leto. I saw one person.
I mean,
He's
Tom
very
Cruise
short.
is this tall, but like,
They're so tiny.
right. But that's what I'm saying. Actors are tough because you never see them in a true setting until they're in the wild.
I gotta
but like
tell you,
politicians,
any fantasy I'm having, the man is never shorter than me in it.
oh, same with me.
Right. I'm
Or
never
he'd
like,
be very short if you were short. I'd be like,
I'm never like, oh, let
He'd
me
be like
bounce
Bilbo
you on my
Baggins.
knee.
yeah.
No.
Some people have this fantasy like.
You could not dominate them if they're tinier, I guess. But that's all. That opens up another can of worms of like domination.
Astrological though.
I gotta say that women can overlook some physical
Do you think
attributes.
women can overlook more than men can?
Of course.
Yeah, I probably agree with that.
Yeah.
Gay men cannot.
No. Oh my
We
God.
have an inability
I've learned so
to
much
overlook.
from you because
An inability
you just
to
like,
overlook.
you're like, even
Unless you are 90 years old and a billionaire,
I don't even think then.
then a twink. No, some little twink, some twink who went to college is going to be like, you know what? I think he's going to die in a year. I
can wait.
hold on. Yeah, little Anna
I
Nicole
can wait.
Smith. But yeah, for the most part, like, I mean, gay men are fairly unforgiving. And
Yeah.
that just means I think men in general
Or
are
unforgiving.
probably
Oh,
more
for sure.
Not totally. There's obviously exceptions to rules, but yeah, I think men are more unforgiving than women in terms.
Yeah,
of
if
that.
you're like a little bit, if you're overweight, it doesn't strike me at all.
What's funny is I think women have a they put out like a checklist. I need this. They don't get all of it. They don't really care. Men don't put out a checklist, but if you're not on their checklist, they don't want you. They don't even see
you.
A checklist that they don't
You're
even
invisible.
have.
You're
then
invisible.
you're
They're like,
invisible.
no.
Right.
I definitely believe that for women, there's like some mainstays. If you're funny, that is,
Yeah.
there's like a charming, like,
That's what I'm banking on. You got it.
if you're antisocial and as a man, I think, that's a hard sell.
But if you're just really beautiful.
Really beautiful doesn't do it for me.
No, not for me either. Even though
a
the
lot of
only people
women-
I've dated
a lot
are
of women-
actually very good, very pretty. But
Of course, Jamie's very pretty. So, I mean,
same with you. You only date pretty people now, currently.
so it's like, I think that, but I definitely, if you're like an antisocial male, that doesn't work for me. And I think if you're like in your basement, you're playing video games, there's some hard sells.
Antisocial.
Some of the more antisocial signs are the water signs.
Cancer.
Cancer.
They just like to be at home and eat and nurture.
Yeah.
Scorpio. Pisces.
Yep, they're at home.
Pisces is at home escaping from reality.
Right, they're not charismatic. You bring them. I had a Cancer rising boyfriend. I brought him at my parents. They were like, get him out of here.
Big boobs?
No. They're like, get him out of here. They're like, wrong.
Yeah.
Because he was just very quiet and shy and scared of them. They're like, they ate him up like dinner.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was like throwing.
I mean,
it was
also
like throwing
our parents have very strong. Both of our parents, or all of our parents, have very strong.
Throwing him to the wolves.
Yeah.
He couldn't even survive. He couldn't survive, and I was like, okay. And he
felt
did.
bad.
He probably went back and played video games.
And like held his blankie from childhood.
100%. And then he sent me like a very long text message. Like it was very
Too
emotive.
Too wordy.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, I don't know.
You're like, okay, we're done.
And pretty much we were a couple months later. Yeah, the antisocial signs are the more emotional signs. They're just, they want to stay at home.
It's funny. I try to be like virtuous, and I say I'm only attracted to people who are like really good at something. It doesn't matter what you look like.
Okay.
But only the people I date are very good looking. Like they're just like very pretty. But they're also very good at something. Besides being pretty. You gotta like bring something to the table.
I don't actually know what attracts me to anybody.
I really do think drive does for me, which is not as.
I just know what I'm just like. Oh, I was like, oh, that's it.
Everything is superficial with attraction, right? You're either attracted to their looks, their drive, their money, their whatever, like their sweet personality. It's
Jamie
all
walked
kind of
into the room. I was like, I'm dead.
Right. That's initial attraction is superficial, though, right?
Sure. I was like, I'm dead.
Right. My initial attraction to women is to have drive. And then if you're not good looking, please leave.
I guess,
drive away.
And then Jamie was like,
Thank
hello.
you,
And I was like, I'm dead. And then he was like, I own my own company. I was like, I'm dead twice over. I was like, I'm already buried. I was like, bury me deeper.
Right.
I was like, so you're like.
So you lucked out. I'm still single.
No, but I think we do like, and I guess that's probably what attracts women like Kat to Lenny. Is like, look at, he is so well established. Totally. He's so smart. He's so accomplished. Women will be like, oh my God, that's the daddy thing. It's like,
it's not just daddy though. It's, I think really drive is successful.
But listen,
ambition
if you're not a daddy, you're a baby.
Also, most plastic surgeons are driven.
You could also be a power couple. So like,
no, you're a baby.
So listen, so like, I have owned and own businesses.
Yes.
Someone who I dated a couple years ago, although he was extremely good looking and smelled phenomenal.
I loved him. I know exactly what we're talking about.
But he also, what attracted me to most to him, truly, even though he was very good looking, truly was his drive to create businesses. And
he was a daddy.
I know, but if I also have the same drive and he has the same drive, we're not just two daddies. We're like, that could be like a good power couple
both two
going
daddies. On. I mean, there's someone that
which
bends
means
a little bit.
Someone isn't the baby.
But no, there's men that are, I think they're either the daddy or they're the baby. Women are women are like, you know, a boss bitch is a new term, or there's a girl that's the baby. Boss. The girl that like the men take care of. They pay their bills.
I think
you know,
with
and they're
gay
like,
men
oh.
is a little more nuanced than that.
Is it though?
It is, because like I do think I can come across as more daddy on the street. Right? If you look, like, I own businesses. I'm confident. I am not as flouncing.
You are a daddy. I don't care anything if you're trying to tell me that you're not a daddy.
But when the door closes,
Well, you like
I'm
to
not
play
as-
around. You like to play around.
Right.
But
Like
you're
I'm
not
not
a
like a strict
baby.
call me daddy. Don't like.
Listen,
Like,
I
wanna
dated a
be
baby
this,
guy
not
that
doing that.
I did a baby guy that was like, I need to put my sweater in the dryer before I put it on because it's cold outside. He was like, I'm cold.
Having a baby complex is different than being the opposite of a daddy. I think.
I don't want to hear about. I don't want a baby.
What you're talking about is a provider versus someone who is provided for.
I don't know. I gotta tell you, there's a lot of men that if you have a very alpha female,
Like they want an infantile. Betty Boop.
because you want to know what they tell that man what to do and they be quiet. Like these influencer women, they're like taking these. Sorry, that was like me burping. That's probably going to come through on here. These women on Instagram that are doing these reels and their husbands like shooting them.
It's
like
true.
they don't have an
like
opinion.
that girl, Sia.
Yeah, he left his job for Roni because she's making money
to hold her purse.
To
take
and you know what?
A selfie. Or not a selfie, I guess, but a photo.
Not interested.
I know. I mean, I think you and I disagree on this a little bit.
Which is okay.
Yeah, totally. Because I think you like when men have an identity through their work. Like they have something.
Or any strong identity. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So they're in a band. They are they have their own thing.
Yeah.
Right. I guess I'm actually similar. You gotta have your own thing, but for me, it doesn't really have to be.
I'm inspired
but you could be a
because you're
stay-at-home dad. For me, you can be a stay-at-home dad because that's not your
you're
identity.
Inspired by our family, but
right.
Am I gonna really be? It's hard.
I don't see you satisfied with a stay-at-home dad.
No.
That's all.
Yeah.
Even if his identity is wrapped up in something totally different, he's an incredible artist, but he's raising the kids.
I would hate it.
Right, yeah. He's wearing the baby on the front, and
I'd hate
he's
it.
going to mommy daycare, daddy daycare.
I would hate it.
Right.
That's
I could deal with that if they're a phenomenal artist, or if they're in a band, or if they have a.
Wait, what if the phenomenal artist is not making any money?
That's okay. That's okay. If you're good at something and you have drive. And that's kind of the fun.
You're a better man than I am.
That's not true. Yeah, well, I'm probably a better man, yes. But also debatable. But
you're a better person than I am.
No, for sure not. But I think also that's kind of the fun. I would want to help that person figure it out if they're that good at it. Ooh, that's what I would like.
So
I would collaborate and be like,
you
I
want to help them. Oh my God, you're so much more Virgoan than I am. That's why you're like, let me help this sad sack of shit.
So what you actually taught me just the other day.
Not at all. I'm out.
I know.
Bye.
What you taught me the other day was, there are degrees of how much you are of the sign, right? You can be a little bit of the sign or the maximum of the sign.
Yeah.
And so I'm the last day of Virgo, which means I am the most Virgo.
And you have a stellium in Virgo.
And I have a stellium in Virgo.
In the Virgo house?
No.
Which house is it?
It's not in all the same house. I just have 3 Virgo signs.
Which houses?
One's in 6, one's in 5,
Virgo.
one's in.
They're all around the same. It's rough.
It's rough for you, not for me. It's
rough for anybody trying to date
for
you.
Everyone else.
I mean, you're really trying to help, but
yeah, because I don't know if you're that good at something and you just can't figure it out. Let's figure it out.
Oh my God, that's your dad. That's a daddy thing. You're gonna come and daddy them
in the street. Yeah. Daddy in the streets. I don't want to say baby in the streets. That's awful. That's literally awful.
If you're a baby in the streets, I love it.
Not what I
I'm dead if you're the baby in the sheets.
No.
Daddy in the streets, baby in the sheets.
But that's what I mean. There's a nuance to daddydom.
Well, it's true. They always say that people are very alpha in their daily life, like to be submissive in their sexual life.
Yeah. All those guys on Wall Street need cheat on their wives with the dominatrix to step on them with stilettos. and they call him a bad boy and they need to be punished.
Right.
Et cetera.
No, I
So they need that.
definitely, I own my own business, but I want Jamie to like spank me and tell me I've been bad,
So this is exactly what you're describing. Exactly what I'm saying. I'm just not going to say it.
It's true because I'm like, ooh, I'm being like different than I'm like, ooh,
Right.
it's like a fantasy. I'm
When
like,
somebody
'cause
yells at me, I'm like, what? Like,
I'd be like,
oh.
I'm like, how bad have I been?
Keep yelling at me. Yeah. What?
It's true. And I think
It's sick.
maybe that honestly, Lisa and Kat have always felt safe because maybe Lenny is that daddy.
Well, he's definitely a daddy in the street in terms of being a provider, owning a business. He's super successful.
Right. And they're just like,
And I guess he's in the
yes.
sheets, he's chicken cutlet. Is that what you're saying? He pounds like chicken cutlet, which is good once in a while. We
Well,
used to be
that's what
pounded
she
out.
said. She said they used to be having a lot of sex. It was.
Is
more
this
of,
when
it was,
she wait?
it-
When
she
did
said
she say
this.
that? When he left her?
I can't remember.
Or
I
before.
don't remember if it was like because I just watched
But that
some
does
of the
matter.
prior seasons. I think it was the prior seasons, but I think
So that's
it was
probably
back
very
in the
much
day.
the
It was
truth.
right around like
So that's
the
probably
what-
the truth.
yeah, but she was saying more like how much are they still having sex? And she's like, when we first got married, he was pounding me like a chicken cutlet. It was like a lot of sex, but now
I know, but that
we're
does
having
not-
less.
I don't think
She meant it was a lot.
I know. I love Lisa. That's not what that means. They were fucking like rabbits, is what she was trying to say. Because being fucked like chicken cutlet, like being pounded for a chicken piccata, is like
I love
very
chicken
high
piccata.
school sex. Okay. Sag is your ready? Jamie, her number one is Alan Dukakis, Victoria Gassman,
Who are you doing?
you,
Who are you doing?
Michael Chiklis,
Wait, who are you doing right now?
you.
Who? But what?
Your top three.
Those
You
are
said
not my
I'm
top
nobody.
three. There are nobody. They have.
You're not Virgo,
they-
Capricorn, Sag?
Oh.
Virgo, Capricorn, Sag.
I can't
MC
get it.
Libra.
I can't get it inside my ear.
It's very boring, people. Like, I'm just sorry. I mean,
Well,
mine's more boring. I
Well,
think.
not
Like,
everyone can be Jerry Garcia. I'm sorry.
I mean, I thought you'd be like Britney Spears or something. Like,
You thought I would be literally
Could
crazy.
you
I'll kill
imagine?
you.
Could you imagine?
That just slipped. That just slipped.
Your response, I think, proves my point. I'll fucking kill you.
Fucking kill you.
I'm gonna do me. It's just a bunch of like old white.
See what I'm doing?
No.
Big.
I know. We're like, fuck off. Like, oh, are you
Like
not-
my feet are too big. Like they're clown feet. Like-
Jamie's like, it's a little too bad.
my earmuffs don't fit.
Yeah, I'm just so good looking and so
Used
good
to
at
call
everything
me
I do.
Dumbo.
No
called
one
you
did.
Dumbo?
Nobody did. He just made that up. Sick.
My
Six,
nephew
six.
did tell me when I was scolding him today that I sound just like his dad, my brother. He's like, only when you like are mad at me, I'm like, you're a piece of shit.
You're like, do what I say.
Yeah, it's a universal accent, language, and
Right.
tone.
Yeah. Everyone's like, no, you're bad.
Right.
I'm like,
He's like, I just
"Ooh."
want a scooter in the middle of the street. I'm like,
No.
get the fuck on the sidewalk.
Right. You're on my time.
Yeah.
Right. Get
If
actually
you
back
die
in
in
the
my
house.
time,
Right.
Jesus. That is the last thing I need. Is a dead nephew on my hands.
Can you imagine?
Back at it.
It's hard to know where we were.
A lot has happened since we
10
cut.
minutes where we had to take a
You
break.
guys just had to go pee real quick.
We had to pee, and
Yep.
we're getting a little off tangent about daddy in the streets, baby in the daddy in the streets, baby in the sheets.
No one said that.
Um,
Well, I mean, someone did say it. I did not say
I'm definitely that way.
it. Great. No.
But I will say that probably maybe is the sexual tension with a lot of women and dads. Like they want the daddy, I mean, that's what they have to put into their mind because it's not how good looking he is or how much they have in common.
It's the provider
They have
aspect.
nothing in common.
It's the provider aspect. And yes, generally, currently, a lot of females, the father figure is the provider. And so they look for that. But what's
it's like
interesting
the boss. It's like the boss. It's like the boss is
what would
like,
be interesting
don't
in
spend
30
too
years
much.
from now, right? Now that women, now that there are stay-at-home dads and the stigma, except for with you, the stigma behind that is kind of squashed. In 30 years, are women going to have mommy issues? They want to be provided for like their mother provided for them?
Interesting if things were going to switch and flip. And
that's generally why Jewish men have such issues with their Jewish mothers. Because they were the providers. Not
they look for a woman who is very dominant.
Right. Just like women look for a male figure that is similar to their dad in terms of providing.
Right. That is true.
I mean, not to bring it home.
I've had one boyfriend that didn't act like all my fathers, and I was like,
gotta go.
No.
Right? I mean, to bring it home a little bit, your current boyfriend is an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Your dad's an entrepreneur.
Correct.
They have very similar paths.
They both love Florida.
They do also both love Florida.
They're both very even. They're both very even tempered.
Right.
Like,
I don't think
that.
you have a daddy complex, whatever that is.
Right.
But
yeah,
I think maybe look for the same stability.
Yeah, I don't like any guy that's like very quick tempered or like throws tantrums or is like very. Yeah, I guess it's what you're comfortable with. It's what
That's what you were raised with.
Right. I'm like.
And what's funny is, so I was about to ask if that's astrological. I don't know if you're the person to ask because your dad and you are very similar astrologically.
We have
or actually all three of us.
Yeah.
Your dad, myself.
We have almost the exact same charts.
Right.
Well, my father.
That's nature versus nurture.
Right. Well, if you think about my mother's very dominant. You have a very dominant mother as well. Our father's a little bit, I think all of our fathers are more agreeable.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have mommy
well,
issues?
I heard a phrase today called toxic positivity.
Oh boy, I gotta drink some wine.
Right. And so I hope my dad is not listening, but
we love you.
And I do love my dad.
I love him.
But he is someone who probably personifies toxic, not that he is agreeable, but he probably personifies toxic positivity, and that no matter what, everything's going to work out. No matter what. So we don't need a plan. No matter what, things are going to be
Because Becky
great.
was planning, your mother.
Right. Because he had someone.
Right. He's like.
Correct. I actually have a friend who does not like to plan, he told me. And so.
Because everybody else does it for him.
Right. And so, in that same conversation, I think I kind of came away with it that I plan too much or I'm driving the boat too much. And so I haven't been planning anything. And guess what? We haven't seen each other in 40 days. That's what happens. Someone has to be the planner. Someone has to drive the boat.
It's really true.
And in our families, my mom drove the boat. Your mom drove the boat.
Right.
In my friendships, for actually a lot of them I don't, but.
I don't drive the boat.
In which respect?
I don't make any plans. I guess I don't. Yeah, I'm not the planner. I want someone else. I want somebody else to drive
Take the wheel.
Yeah, I do.
Right. And for me, what's so funny is in this one relationship, I'm the planner. All I want is for someone to take the wheel.
Right.
That's the daddy in the streets, baby in the sheets. Like, just take the wheel.
Yeah, be like, hey, let's do this. Let's follow through. It's hard. It's hard for me because all I do all day long is plan. So when on my off time, I'm like, oh, like,
right.
when someone plans something, I was like, oh, this is like such a luxury. I was
Right.
like, oh, they like want to go here. And I'm like, oh, it's so nice. They like thought it through, and then they like called the restaurant or they called the hotel.
Yeah.
And now I don't have to work at all to make it happen. And now we're just going to go.
All I want for someone to do in life for me is make me dinner. That's it.
Oh.
It's very small. It's very, and it doesn't have to be good. It could be awful. Just make it.
I'm like, as your birthday's coming up, I'm going to make something for you.
No, you don't need to make it.
You're like, you don't ever
right.
cook. You're like, you don't cook. Not from you.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you know what?
You could make a cheese bar, but like, I'm
You're like,
kidding.
not from you.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just saying, like, in romantic partnerships.
Yeah,
all
no,
I
you want
for someone, just because I'm always the one who's either making the meal or bringing them to the cool new restaurant.
I agree.
Or paying for the meal. I just want someone to make me a meal.
I agree. I called Jamie in the morning.
Easy.
And I'm like, what are we doing? It doesn't even really involve me, but I just like to know what he is doing. And like, he's like, I feel like he's a more dominant partner. So I'm just like, in my private life, I like to defer to Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think these are things that everyone should think about astrologically and like sort of embrace. It's like, I want him to be like, what are we doing? Because if I call Jamie, he's like laying around like a couch potato, just like a dud.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh my God.
Jamie's our producer, by the way.
I'd die. I don't even know what I would do if he was
Never
just like
laying around ever.
I've never seen him lay ever. I would just be like, ooh. But instead, I'm
No,
like,
of course.
oh, yeah. I'm like, oh, what are we
Unless it's
doing? What are you?
7:30 p.m. when I go to bed.
So I'm like, what are we doing? By we, it's just actually just what he's doing. But like,
Yeah, no, I get that.
I like
morning,
that though.
It's like he wants to go to Home Depot. You're just going to go.
Right. I just want to go too.
Cool. Yeah.
Right. I want to like tag along, but
I
it's
just
like,
want someone to make
but
it.
here in the store, everyone defers to me. They're like, this light, this is broken. How can't we fix this? This happened.
Right.
So I'm the daddy here all day long.
Daddy in the street.
Daddy in the streets.
Baby in the streets.
Sheets.
No, but it's true. Like, what's so funny is we both feel very similarly. We both have we're very similar. We both have Moon and Capricorns, which is kind of the career sign, the daddy sign,
Which is
right?
odd. And we take some baby
right? No, but it's not odd because our persona is Capricorn, right? Like,
yeah, it's a business.
Right, exactly.
I have a business.
And like we take charge and we know where the restaurant is. We know how to make something better than someone else at dinner, all this stuff. So people I think that's hard sometimes for people to take the reins. Even though all we want is for someone to take the reins. Just
right.
take them. Take them right, just snatch them.
Right, and be like, this is what we're doing. And JB, he's like, I'm going to do this. He's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And when he says no, I'm not like, meh. I'm like, oh, no.
Right,
it's just
okay.
like, it's a full stop. And when I'm here and I'm working, like when you're working, you're like, no, full stop. Like, it's just like, it's a almost like stop and go traffic. Like it's just a pattern of movement when you're trying to really make a business work or a relationship work. Like, you can't get stuck on the way someone says something or the way they don't say something, or you need to be very upfront about what you like and what you don't like. I mean, I don't think I've ever had this conversation with Jamie about I like that he just says what he's going to do, but it's just almost something that like, that's why our relationship is so easy in a way, is because he's like, that's the way it's working. And I have to applaud a lot of my employees too. I also hire people that wait for me to say, stop or go. They're taking direction from me as opposed to trying to overrule me. There's not a power struggle there. I don't have a power struggle. I don't have a power struggle in my relationship.
I mean, I find like as an employer, you have a really good balance of like not micromanaging, but also
I try. It's not always perfect.
having, of course, I mean, nothing's perfect, right? But like, you have a good balance of you don't micromanage, but then they also do wait for you to say stop or go.
Right. And I think both of us don't respond well to being vice versa, having your subordinates or, your employees telling you what to do.
Oh, if anyone tells me what to do, I just don't do it.
I know you
It's
do.
like very childish.
I'm just like, no.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have a car. I registered it months ago. I should have new license plates on it. Someone says I need to do it. I'm like, oh, I'm going to show you.
won't.
I don't. And guess
I
what?
know.
It's been a year. I'm still driving.
My love to Alexis, she knows she won't even hint at it. She's just like, well, so maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
if
I
you
don't
could
respond to that.
maybe think about maybe doing something.
The worst word in the English language is maybe.
Well, maybe to me is okay because she's not telling me to do it because do it won't happen. I've had those employees and I fired all of them.
But okay. So leave.
Because we just are like.
I'm just saying, like, maybe doesn't mean anything.
Well, I
It's
like
not yes, it's
I
not
like
no.
everyone. I have a Venus and Libra. I want you to be
True.
really nice to me. Oh, I want you
Oh,
to
see,
be
I don't
nice.
care if you're nice to me. I want you to be honest with me.
Ooh, I want you to put it in a bow. I want you to send it first class mail, and you send it in such a sweet
Honesty and a plan.
No.
Do you want to do this? Maybe.
I know. That's your
That is
Aries.
my trigger word. What
That's
does
your
that
Aries
mean?
rising. Oh, maybe. I love
go?
maybe.
Do you want to go to the movies? Maybe. So are we going or not?
Oh, I love maybe.
It's Friday. I'm asking you
this
for
goes-
Friday night.
this goes
do you want to
back
go
to
to the
our-
movies? And you say maybe. I say that means no.
Listen to me.
And so
This goes
sayonara,
back to
Mr.
our
Miyagi.
last. This goes back to our last episode when a lot of the number one, I think, the biggest polarizing interaction between housewives across all. I'm sorry, across all the
Opposite side.
franchise is Aries and Libra, which we have. I'm like, make it nice, make it sweet.
I like torch it.
You're like, be direct, don't fuck around. I was like, fuck around all the time, be nice, be sweet, be kind.
Yeah, I mean, I have all the time in the world, believe you me. But I don't have time for games, and I just want
I love games.
an answer. Right, yeah. It's just that's a big difference between the two of us. Like, my time, because I'm so Virgoan, that I'm such a Virgo, it's fairly planned, right? And
You're like a lot of people, though.
in my free
Damn,
time,
everybody in New
in
York
my
is your
free
way.
time is very precious. And so,
Right.
because I just have a lot of
You
obligations.
got a lot of family stuff going on, yeah.
Just a lot of obligations, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
And so, when
You're
I
like, this is the
ask
time.
to do something on a time when I'm free, I don't care if you say no. I don't care at all. But just say no so it releases me so I can do something with someone else. But when the word maybe comes up, it's just, and I know that's a rigid aspect of myself. Like, I understand that. But, like, I don't have time. Although I have a lot of time, I don't have time to mess around with that. And so,
There's nothing wrong with either side.
for sure. Yeah. No,
And that's
I'm not saying there is.
Right,
I'm not saying there is.
Naturally, friends will just gravitate to the friends that don't give a fuck if they show up or not, or the
Totally.
friends that always are.
But it is weird that one of my closest friends uses this word, and I'm someone who hates it.
God, I don't even know the last time I've made a plan ever.
You and I have made a plan. We made a plan to go to Waterford, Maine once with your dad and his girlfriend.
Wife, yeah. And
I was gaslit to think that I had never been there in my life.
Yeah, we do. We'll make. If
Even though I
I
go
make a plan,
there all
if I
the
make a
time.
plan, I do it. But
You
I
do.
rarely ever say I'm going to do anything.
Yeah.
which is weird for
what's
air
weird is-
signs.
But you and I have never. I don't like to speak in absolutes, but you and I have we've had some issues, but like we've never had an issue around this.
Yeah.
It's you said you were going to do this, you didn't do it. Never have we said that to each other, have we?
No, but I think this is a recurring theme with the housewives, though, is like you said you're going to do this. You didn't defend me. You didn't suck up for me. It's like a confrontation because when you're in a group of women, it's either you go to battle or you stay behind. You don't confront the issue and you let it dissipate. Or you go out. It's like the offensive and the defensive. It's like it's very polarizing.
Well, it goes back
And there's
again.
nothing wrong with either.
I guess it goes back again, though, that every single relationship, friendship, business, romantic, there is a dominant and there is someone less dominant. Because if you're both less dominant, nothing's going to get done in business. As friends, you're never going to make a plan. And as romantic partners, you're not.
Watching a lot of TLC television.
Okay.
My goodness gracious.
Like 90 Day Fiance, those shows?
Not even that. Just like a little bit more like relationships that are together for like 10, 15, 20 years and no one's doing anything about it. No one's addressing anything.
Yeah.
It's
neither
like a relationship
are dominant.
Right. It's a relationship of convenience. I've never ever been in a relationship of convenience. I don't even know what it's like. You and I don't even know. So it's like we can't make a generalization. There are so many people that are together for years and they're roommates.
Just because you're together doesn't mean you should be.
Right.
Right? Like anyone can have a roommate.
And many
do. We look for partnerships beyond
it's a higher
roommate.
standard.
Actually,
yeah.
I don't even want you to live with me, to be frank. Like I want, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't think it's a higher standard. It's a different standard.
It's a different standard. Yeah, that's
you know,
better.
right? Like nothing is better or worse, and I do agree with you in that. Like saying maybe or versus yes or no, neither is worse, but one does work for someone and one doesn't for someone else.
And that's
again, if you have two friends who never make plans,
you're
never going to hang out. And like, I mean, I'll admit now that I'm just thinking about it, in our relationship, our friendship, you know, most of the time I stop by your house.
It's true.
Kind of unannounced, or I'm riding my bike and I just like happen by or whatever. But like, if I didn't do that, I don't think we would see each other we wouldn't watch as much Bravo. And that's to no fault of anyone. That's just.
And it's true.
And that's just a thing.
But what's interesting is that for the person that's more inactive,
right,
there is still like it's a smaller core of people that they were like I would reach out to you, but it's
know.
I know, but it's interesting because the core is it's maybe a couple people. It's like one or two.
We have 100 pennies or 4 quarters. It's like right. I have one silver dollar. And she's sitting right there.
But I'm like, okay. I was like, if you didn't call, I'd find you. Okay, like
yeah, no, I don't.
Right, but that's interesting. That like you do seek me out, but it's like I also figure that you will. But if you didn't, then I'd be like, where are you? Every time my mother,
and by the way,
never want to know where
you have said those things to me.
What are you doing?
You're like, what are you doing? Where are you? Why are you not at the shop? Like, no, but like for real, like.
And I'm sure there's other people that would love to have me ask them where they are, and it's not I'm so cool and like above them, but it's like I just have such a small. I think it's an Earth sign thing.
I think so too. I think it's a Capricorn thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a Virgo thing as much. I think it's a Capricorn thing.
Yeah, it's just
where what you describe Capricorns are like our emotions are stopped up like a toilet.
Yes.
And so only maybe we can understand each other. And what's really interesting is
a lot of our friends are.
Right. As of late, the people that I just kind of naturally gravitate to in a very natural, easy way, we all have the same moon, all have Capricorn moons.
Yeah.
And like some of these people I would probably not be friends with otherwise.
Right.
But like they're the people that like for whatever reason I'm just
naturally drawn to.
Very comfortable with.
It's funny, Jamie is in a band and we looked at all their charts and 3 of them have the same moon sign in a very small band.
Right.
And it's like
there is something to be said about it.
There is something to be said about it.
You understand each other in a different type of way. Just like, you know, your partner, your romantic partner can have the same moon sign. That means you understand each other in that way. That is not a recipe for success.
No.
You know, by any means.
But I think
it
for
means
friendship it is.
For friendship, I think. Yeah,
I think
agree.
same moon sign is not the recipe for a success at all.
No. Friendship, there doesn't need to be tension. In romance, there needs to be a little tension.
But friends, if you're all going to be talking to each other and maybe hurting each other's feelings a little bit with criticisms and stuff, like we talk to each other
There's so
and
many
we'll
dynamics in friendships.
Yeah, we'll criticize each other, but we know it doesn't mean anything. I'm sure Jamie, he's in
Also-
a band. They have to kind of talk to each other like bluntly about like how this is going to go, how
that
it's going to
chord
go.
was shitty. That riff
Right.
was shitty.
But they're more aligned than not.
Well, it's also one of those things where it's like, I mean, we're like so loyal as friends, I think, that like we can make fun of each other all day. But if someone makes fun of you, even one thing, I'll fucking kill them.
Same.
Like, I mean, that's my Aries. I'll go to your house and I'll burn it down.
Correct. And I think that is what you need, like an allegiance.
Right. But isn't that odd? That and it's for me anyway. And I think for you a little bit. It's been fairly recent. In the last
It has.
2 years, maybe 3 years, where it's like for
We've
whatever
met
reason,
like a lot of
all
Capricorn
of these people with Capricorn moons.
Hey, I gotta
have
tell
come
you,
together.
I have a staff. I have a Capricorn sun. I used to have a Capricorn moon, Virgo Capricorn moon, just like myself. I have a Capricorn Leo. I have a sun and Cancer at Capricorn moon. I have a Gemini sun and a Capricorn moon. We're all Capricorns. Obviously, I've chosen people that make me feel comfortable. Like if you make me feel uncomfortable, you can't work here. It's like my store is sort of like my living room. It's like an extension of my house. It's my own personal space. I don't want you to be in here and us not getting along. It's not fun for you. It's not fun for me. Like the tension, it's a small space. It's hard. So, though I remember when I first moved to Maine, I was a GM of a restaurant in Yarmouth. And I was hiring.
My hometown.
Your hometown. Ding, ding, ding.
More fadedness between us.
I moved here in 2012 and put out an ad on Craigslist and wasn't getting a lot of hits because I think it was because it was Yarmouth instead of Portland that was drawing like servers, bartenders or whatever. Opened it up to Portland, even it was Yarmouth, and just said like in parentheses Yarmouth, even though it was Portland. And I got this onslaught of people. Like all of a sudden I had like one person a week, and all of a sudden I had like 20 people wanting a job, and they were coming in having interviews. I hired probably like 15 people, I guess. I looked at all of them. They were all Geminis.
Weird.
It was so weird. And it was because I would assume that Gemini is my 7th house, and we were like
relationships,
of
right?
relationships. We're like very well like paired. So I think that there are some things that when you're not thinking about it,
Totally.
this is a natural occurrence.
I think astrology in general is when you're not thinking about something. Like with the whole Lenny and Lisa's, their reactions to their nanny or housekeeper breaking their arm, right?
Yeah.
Those were natural, quick reactions where you don't have time to think, right? That's nurture versus nature. Or, excuse me, nature versus nurture. That is astrology.
Yeah.
I mean, right? That's when astrology is the most prevalent, I think. When
Yes,
you
instinctual.
aren't overthinking it. There's no outside influences.
So you're just like, go.
Because outside influences, as much as we don't want them to,
Especially with a camera.
affect us tremendously.
Yeah.
Right? But their reactions are very indicative of who they are astrologically and just who they are.
Yeah, she's just like kind and comforting.
So when you're not thinking about it, right, you're only hiring Capricorn moons. When you're not thinking about it, you're only getting along with Gemini
suns. It's a weird thing.
Which is also your opposite. Which is also your descendant.
It's like, it's a natural occurrence. So I think it's interesting. A lot of people are like, astrology, I could take it or leave it, but you're just not actually realizing a lot of the patterns. If I could take, a snapshot of one person's life, I'll tell you that there is a common thread on all of your relationships across the board, 100%. And there's also a lack of signs, 100%, that you just don't get along with. And you're not, when you meet them, you're like, I don't care. Take it. Like, you could take or leave that person 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Yes.